The concept of lead quality is a bullshit myth. What's going on, guys? Nick Friel here, founder of Media Simplified. We are a mortgage marketing agency that helps mortgage brokers all over the country scale their business using online lead generation, systems and processes, automations, and more. And this channel is dedicated to helping mortgage professionals scale their business, and hopefully some of these tactics help you. What we're going to be going over today might be kind of an unpopular opinion amongst mortgage brokers, but it's something that I'm going to challenge you to think about today, and that is that the concept of lead quality is a bullshit myth, and you should not buy into it. And let me explain why. Lead quality, as you know, a lot of people in the mortgage space will talk about, is ultimately almost 100% defined by someone's ability to actually contact and convert a lead. And let me prove why that's the case. So we're going to use two obvious examples, kind of two of the most fundamental types of leads people get, and that's going to be Google and Facebook. So we're going to use these to explain why ultimately the quality of where the lead comes from doesn't matter, and it only matters if you close them. Let's say that you're getting a $250 Google lead, and this is someone that's going out and looking for you. They're even trying to contact you. There's still so many steps along the way that you can lose this person. If you don't get a hold of them right away, they might call another broker. If your application is long and kind of tedious, you might lose them at the application process, and they might end up floating around to your competition. Like, there's still so many steps along the way that this $250 Google lead, even though it might be coming from a place that is much higher intent, I can definitely ascribe that to Google leads. But at the end of the day, if you don't close this $250 lead, you're going to assume the same thing that you assume about the rest of the leads, that it's just not quality. On the flip side, we're going to take the complete opposite situation. You might get a $5 Facebook lead, which I'm sure if you haven't spoken with someone already, you'll hear eventually that, Facebook leads or social leads are low quality, or whatever the case may be. In fact, it's really the fact that most mortgage brokers are just not very good at converting leads. To kind of hammer this in, if you were to get a Facebook lead for $5 and you were to get a hold of that person and get them on the phone and get them into your application and they end up closing, it doesn't matter that it was a $5 lead. What matters is that you closed it. So at the end of the day, as someone who's paying for leads, you're not going to care where it comes from or how high intent the lead was if they don't close. They're going to end up in the same bucket as, a low quality lead if they don't close. And this is why you see so many mortgage brokers who just, after trying it a couple of times, they just come out and say, well, leads don't work for me. I'm a referral-based person. Ultimately, it's not that leads don't work. It's that you haven't implemented a system and you haven't figured out how to make the leads work. Because across the board, the biggest producers in the country, they not only have one lead source, but usually they have many lead sources, and they're looking for volume and quality, not just quality. So I highly, highly suggest that if you're one of those people that is so focused on lead quality, you also put just as much emphasis on your ability to convert leads instead of just where the leads are coming from. Because great, yeah, we can say that, on average, a $250 Google ad lead is going to be higher intent than a $5 Facebook lead. But at the end of the day, if you don't close either of them, they're going into the same bucket. So once again, my entire message with this video is to make sure that you are focusing on your ability to convert leads and not just lead quality. If you just do away with that term altogether, lead quality, it will serve you tremendously, because that is such a big crutch that so many mortgage professionals I see utilize to rob themselves of figuring out this skill, which will allow their business to absolutely boom. Now, one more point here that I want to hone in, and we're going to stick with the example here of the Google and Facebook ad. Once again, Google ads, great. Obviously, they come in, they're very high intent. Usually they're searching for you, but there is shelf lives to every sort of lead that you're going to get. And there's pros and cons with all of these different lead types. So what I mean by shelf life is a Google ad for the first 3 days, the first 3 weeks even. A Google ad is someone who's very high intent. They're going out and searching for you which means they are close to taking action. Like they are ready to make that move. Now, if you follow up with a Google lead 3 months from now, it's very likely that they've already worked with someone. They've already moved forward. They've already taken the action. They're already working with the competition. So the lead quality of a Google ad is exponentially higher over those first 3 days to first 3 weeks, depending on how big your area is and how much competition's in the area. So a Google lead is only really going to be, a high quality lead for a short amount of time, for maybe 3 days to 3 weeks, like I said. Now, on the flip side, you have Facebook leads where this is not necessarily intention marketing where they're coming out and searching for you. This is more interruption marketing where maybe, they've clicked around some things in the past, but they weren't necessarily looking for a mortgage professional at that time. And we're interrupting them with an ad like Facebook or TikTok or something like that. In this type of lead, a interruption-based ad, they fill it out, they submit it. Maybe for the first 3 weeks or maybe for the first 3 months, we're not even getting a hold of this person. Because a lot of times that sort of interruption-based marketing, it might be the first step that person is taking on their buying journey to becoming a homeowner or to refinancing. And they might not be ready right at that time where they fill out the form, but they might be putting their foot in the door. And what can happen with these leads is that even though for the first few weeks or the first few months, they could be looked at as, low quality because they're not answering. A lot of times these take a little bit to kind of bake and mature a little bit to the point where they are ready to take action. Oftentimes 3 months, 6 months later, we get a phenomenal response rate from leads and we have a ton of them to work, which is a huge benefit. So kind of opposite to the Google ad, whereas because they're coming in with such high intentions and they're moving quickly, we can kind of rest assured that within 3 months, that lead's going to be, off with the competition. These Facebook leads are kind of the opposite, where over the first 3 months, you might think these are low quality leads. But eventually they do move towards purchasing or refinancing or working with a mortgage professional. And oftentimes that's after 3, 6, 9 months. So it's kind of flipped on its head. So at that time, these would be considered high quality leads, but there's a time frame where they are low quality leads and vice versa for the Google ads. Those are my challenging points as to why I believe that lead quality is an absolute myth. And it's something that I think you should drop from your vocabulary. If you disagree, I would love to see your comments in the video below. Ultimately, my only goal with this is to help you, mortgage professionals across the country, close more deals. So if you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, share. Every little bit of support helps. And if not, my name is Nick Friel, founder of Media Simplified. We'll see you on the next one.